What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Today, we're going to be talking about the best punk rock releases of February 2023. We've got about 25 releases to go through today, so lots of good stuff for you guys to check out. Before we get into it, I just want to bring attention to this. This is the Tosca Fall album that's coming out later this month. It is an official Punk Rock Radar release. It's on beautiful red vinyl. I've got 15 copies left on the website. If you want to support the channel, that's how you could do it. I'll leave a link down below. So Dylan, I'm joined by Dylan, of course, Screeching Bottle Rocket from DyingScene.com. You picked out quite a few releases for this week. You're going to be carrying us. What do you got? How did you feel like February was for punk rock?
I thought it was good. The volume was up from the first month of the year. Still haven't gotten like a full-length release from a real like flagship punk band yet, as far as original material goes. But still, a lot of the newer guys coming through pretty big time. So it was a pretty good month overall. Yeah,
definitely. And Dylan picked out a ton of stuff, so we're gonna hit a lot of his first. And this is his first one. This was on my list too. But Dylan, we've got the Rimmingtons. I think they're from Australia, and this is their album Rocket to Rimtown. What did you like about this one?
It's pretty good Ramones core, man. If you guys like Ramones core, like Screeching Weasel, the Queers, the Manges or Manges, however the fuck you say it, these guys are in that same ballpark. A little... I don't know, they're kind of free thinkers. It's not like a blatant rip-off of Ramones core style stuff. It's a little on the poppier side. But it's a really good album. I think these guys have been around for a few years, and they've been working on this. The dude, Craig, who's the singer, and I think he plays bass, has a label he runs called Endless Detention Records. So if you live in Australia and you want to get good pop punk and Ramones core records, check his distro out. He's got a lot of cool shit on there. What did you think of this record?
I liked it. My favorite song, I think, was the single Baby Ray, but I also like Wasted Time, track 7. The song you picked out that we're going to play a clip of is Leave Me Alone. What did you like about that song?
I mean, it grabs your attention right off the bat. I think it's one of the stronger songs on the record, so what better way to start the album than with one of the best songs?
All right, so we're going to play a clip of that right now. Let us know what you think, guys.
She looked at me and said before you speak, no, I don't want to know, I'm running late so I gotta go.
All right, so up next we've got Wrong Life, self-titled album. I think this is what members of the Murder Burgers, or Frasier from there. Dylan, You were talking to me about this record from the day it came out, so what do you have to say about this one?
Yes, I was a huge Murder Burgers fan. I have all their records. I kind of remember the first time I heard them. Their first, it wasn't their first album. It was their first like big album. It was called How to Ruin Everything, but it was something like that. I forget what it's called, but that was a kick-ass pop punk album. So this is Frasier from that band. He's played in a lot of bands, but this is his current like main project. If you guys have heard the Murder Burgers, this is kind of in the same vein, but a lot more serious. It's kind of similar to their later stuff, probably like their last 2 albums, but not as upbeat. But still, the songwriting's great. It's very serious subject matter. Very vulnerable subjects. So I like it a lot. I like everything Frasier does, and I think this is a great album. It's his first proper full-length release with this band. They did a compilation LP with their 2 first EPs last year, and that's good too. But I think this is a step up from that compilation that they did.
All right, and the song we're gonna play is "The Quarter Mile." Dylan, I still gotta listen to this one all the way through. I was away the last 10 days or so I'm really far behind on this stuff, and But this is out on a couple really cool labels, including Cat's Claw. So I'll leave a link to those down below so you guys can check this out, pick it up if you like it. But here's a clip of the song Quarter Mile.
All right, this one's a little different. I was on the fence whether it was worth including or not, because it's technically not a new release, but I think it's different enough from the original release that it deserves a spot on here. So this is the 30th anniversary remixed, remastered reissue of Anthem for a New Tomorrow by Screeching Weasel. If you guys watched our Screeching Weasel tier list video, which I hope you all did, you know this is my favorite Weasel album. So Mike Kennedy from the All American Rejects, who's produced the last few Screeching Weasel albums, was tasked with remixing this. I haven't seen anywhere whether there was re-recording done, but the drums and the bass and stuff were definitely like, I feel like they overdubbed most of it, and the drums they use like Pro Tools like drum plugins for, which I don't know, it doesn't sound as authentic as the original recording, but I think it sounds better and more modern. Definitely, it sounds a lot like the last few Weasel albums did, which, again, if you watch that video, you know John and I are both pretty big fans of those records. So it sounds fucking cool, man. It sounds completely different from the original version of the album.
Yeah, like I just listened to this today for the first time. I texted you. I was like, damn, this sounds so much better. I think you had this in your S tier, obviously. This was in my A tier. And I think if I was judging off this, I think it would be up in the S tier. I think it just like puts it right up there with the last couple records, which were in my S tier. Yeah, dude, I really like the way this sounds. Yeah, I'm gonna have to spend more time with this after we wrap up this episode. That's how much I've been into this one. So, guys, this is Anthem for a New Tomorrow, 30th anniversary remix, remaster. The song Dylan picked out is I Don't Want to Be Friends, which is track 12 on here. If you haven't listened to this record, go check it out. This is never a better time to do it now that it's remixed and remastered.
So, something, before we play the song, something I'm curious about is how I believe that stuff was re-recorded, or at least reproduced in Pro Tools, and I'm wondering how that affects like royalty payouts. So I have the record. I got it from Striped Music on pink vinyl, and the back of the sleeve still credits, Danny Panic and Dan Vapid and Jughead and all them, because obviously they either had writing contributions and they recorded on the original version of the album. But I'm wondering if they get like less of a, if Ben did this partially to get like a bigger cut of royalties, or what the fuck the deal is with that. But I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory about the 30th anniversary Anthem reissue.
That's interesting. Maybe somebody watching could shed some light on it, because I honestly have no idea. All
right, here's another one. John hasn't checked out really yet, but it is fucking great, man. You gotta check it out. Everybody's gotta check this out. These guys, I think they're from Canada. Let's double check, fact check. They're from Ontario. Old saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. In this case, you don't want to judge a band by its name. So, I mean, Hellaphant, no offense to you guys, the name's kind of weird. Kind of odd. The record's great though. These guys are really good. If you're into like pop punk, early 2000s pop punk kind of, but like with a harder edge, then I would highly recommend checking these guys out. It's not like anything else on here. It doesn't sound like Ramones core or anything. I really like it a lot. I checked it out on a whim. I don't remember how I found it, but I listened to it a few times in a row, and I bought the record. They got it on vinyl on Bandcamp, and it's pretty cheap. The shipping to the U.S. was only like $7, which if you order records from Canada, you know that that's pretty fucking reasonable for shipping to the US. So check these guys out. If you like it, buy the record on Bandcamp. I got the link in my column that's going to be linked in the description of the video on dyingscene.com.
All right, our next album here, I have had a chance to listen to this one here. This is Empire Me, their debut full-length album. This is I'm Out. These guys are from Germany. And this album, they actually submitted it to the website, and that's how I heard of it. And most of the stuff that gets submitted to the website is kind of like unrefined, you know, some independent bands. But when I heard this one, I was like, damn, like how haven't I heard of these guys before? I've really been into this album. My favorite song on here is this VKTRS. That's the one I pinned for my playlist. The one Dylan picked is Pure Love. But overall, just a solid pop punk album. I think it's pretty accessible, Dylan. I don't think that it's super fast. It's just really catchy album. What do you like about this one?
Yeah, these guys have been around for over a decade, I think, and I too am hearing of them for the first time. I guess it shows it can kind of be a good thing when you refine your sound and you know, figure shit out before you go and record a full-length album, and definitely paid dividends for these guys. I think this is a great album. And again, shout out to the Bandcamp. It's only €5. Euros. €5. You can get the Empire Me I'm Out debut full length. Go pick that shit up, guys.
Like distance, like my pain won't kill me.
All right. Next up in the albums, we got Fat Heaven from Brooklyn, New York. I don't like New York. John's from there, so good for him. These are his fellow New Yorkers. Interesting story in my opinion. I found these guys. It was like the middle of the night, and I was on Instagram just scrolling through reels, as one tends to do, and these guys had a promoted post for their music video for the song we're gonna feature, Quarter Life Crisis. And I thought it was really cool. And everyone usually you see like a promoted post and everyone's like shitting on it, or you know, like they're like memeing in the comments, but everyone was into it in the comments, and I agreed with them. I thought it was a real cool song. This is a real fun pop punk album. And I'm thinking John's going to compare this to Green Day, potentially. So if he is, I'm kind of on board with the comparison. I think it's in that same vein of early Green Day. But it's a real fun album, and these guys, I think they're playing a release show with another band in Brooklyn. The other band, what the fuck are they called? They're called... I don't remember their name, but anyway, they're playing a release show in Brooklyn like next week. So go on their Instagram, check that out, and pick up the record. It's on some cool labels. I think it's on White Russian, isn't it?
Sell the Heart. I don't know about White Russian, yeah, but definitely Sell the Heart is the one here.
Yeah, Sell the Heart. They seem like cool guys.
Yeah. I've interacted with them quite a bit on Instagram here and there, but yeah, this is on my list too. This is probably like number 2 or 3 of the year so far. This Fat Heaven record, and the only thing downside about this is that I think 4 of these songs were on their EP. And Dylan, I asked you, I was like, is Suburban Nightmare a cover? Because I thought that I was like, I've definitely heard this before. I look back on my playlist, I think like 2019, 2020, I had this song on there. So Suburban Nightmare sounds like a 90s Michael Graves Misfits style song, which I love. And my favorite song on here is Cry Baby. The chorus has been getting stuck in my head over and over. I think that was on the EP as well. But yeah, this is an awesome album. One of my favorites of the year so far. I think any fan, I won't say Green Day. I could hear kind of the Green Day riff-ish, but overall I think these guys have a unique sound, so go check them out. The whole album is good, but I think it picks up in the middle. This is
6 of the songs were previous released. There's 4 new songs.
6 of the 10. Okay. Only downside there. But I mean, if this is a new band for you, then it's no downside, which I think for most people, it's going to be a new band. So go check out Fat Heaven. Album is Trash Life. You can grab it from Sell the Heart Records, friends of the channel. I'll leave a link down below. So this next one is another one of my picks. This is another Joe, their album Ready or Not. I think it was like 20 years that they had between albums. I had Plasticine. I had the Gob Split Ass Seen on TV back in the day. And so I don't know if I was waiting for this, but I was certainly happy to see that they were releasing new music. And it's another one of my favorites of the year. I think Misfits is a great song. Mexico is great. My favorite song on here, I've said it on Instagram, is Freak, which turns out is a Lana Del Rey cover, which to me makes it even better. Lana Del Rey is my wife's favorite artist, so it was cool to hear a different version of the song. And I think, Dylan, we just did the Fearless Records tier list like a week or two ago. I feel like this album would have fit completely on that list, like in the late 90s Fearless style bands. But just a real fun skate influence pop punk record, I think. I don't know if it's necessarily skate punk, but just a fun pop punk album. Some cool lyrics here and there. I really enjoyed this. I don't think there's a really bad song on here. T-Bird Tattoo is another good one. Dylan, anything to say about this one?
There's only 8 songs. It's not an album. Come on, another Joe. This is an EP. Don't lie to yourself.
Maybe we'll get an album down the road. We'll see.
Deluxe edition with 10 tracks.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize there's only 8 songs, but they're all good. So we'll let it slide. I'm gonna play a clip of Freak because I think it's an awesome cover. But yeah, check out the first 3 or 4 songs. They're all good. This is another Joe, Freak, from their album Ready or Not.
Baby, if you wanna leave, come to California, be a freak like me too.
All right, so this is my pick here. This is my favorite album of the year so far. This is Grade 2 and their self-titled album. I think it just came out like a week or so ago. And nowadays, we listen to so much music that it's really rare that the first time I listen to it, I'm immediately pulled in. My personal playlist, I used to just throw any old thing on there, but now that I have so much on there that I maybe pick one song or so from each album, I immediately dragged Street Rats Scallywag on there because I thought the chorus was so catchy. If you guys don't know Grade 2, I think they're probably the most popular band on the list, but this album, if it wasn't self-titled, it could be called Give 'Em the Boot because it's just got that Hellcat sound. It's on Hellcat, of course, but Rancid is a very easy comparison, especially after Indestructible era Rancid, but it's better than all those albums. But it's got that kind of dirty, not street punk, but 77 style influence sound. But I think this whole album is really awesome. My favorite of the year so far, Grade 2. Dylan, any thoughts on this one?
I believe it was co-produced by Tim Armstrong, so he seems to like to impose that kind of Rancid sound onto the bands he produces, which, if you're a Rancid fan, that's a good thing. I do like, I think my favorite song that I've heard that I can recall is Under the Streetlight. I think that was one of the early singles they released off this album. I gotta listen to it more. This isn't typically the subgenre of punk I'm into, really. So I'll listen to it more and see if I come around on it. Jason, one of the guys who writes for Dying Scene, gave it a real good review. So if you guys are in a similar boat and you need your opinion swayed, check out Jason's review of this album on Dying Scene. It's he really liked it.
Yeah, I'll just say this too. I usually don't gravitate towards this style of punk either. And I like their previous stuff, but this one is just, it's been an exception for me so far. Like, I don't really listen to any of the other Hellcat style bands, but something about this just pulled me in. I'm definitely vibing with it. I had it on my plane ride. This is the album I was listening to for about 3/4 of the plane. So I was through it quite a bit. And yeah, so we're going to play my favorite track on here, Street Rat Scallywag by Grade 2. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, he's a street rat, scallywag. Yeah, he's a street rat, scallywag.
All right, so I believe this is our last full-length album we're covering on the video. This is an interesting band. There's two main members. This is a band John introduced me to a few weeks ago. There's two main members. One guy's from New York, and the other guy is from, I forget where, but England, somewhere in England. One of them, the dude from England sings, and then the guy from New York plays guitar, bass, and I don't know if they're real drums or if they're programmed drums. They sound pretty good if they are programmed. But he does all that stuff, and he's a pretty fucking good guitarist, man. I play guitar myself, and I probably couldn't play most of the lead guitar parts on here. Their sound is interesting. It blends a lot of elements of different subgenres of punk. I think overall there's a kind of a pop punkish feel to it, but with like a street punk kind of coat of paint over that. But there are definitely some pop sensibilities to this album. And there really aren't a lot of bands that sound like this that play, you know, those not really shreddy, but like pretty like technically proficient like lead guitar stuff. Usually that's reserved for faster like skate punk, a Wilhelm scream and stuff, you know. So I thought it was really cool. And I think it's awesome that with the power of technology, we can have music like this where the dudes don't even live on the same continent, but they can record an album like this and have it sound this good.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel like we've been pretty like blessed so far this year with like this and Colors Fade. One of us, we just got the Thousand Oaks album, but yeah, the shredding on this, like I was like talking to somebody, I was like, man, I hear like a little GNR influence on here. It's just wild to have this on like a pop punk kind of record. But yeah, Build Back Better was my favorite song. The
opener,
or
album opener.
The title track is what I'm looking for here. Yeah, the opener title track, Build Back Better. It was my favorite one on here, but yeah, one of the best of the year so far. This is When Walls Fell. Let us know what you think. All right, so one more album we lied. This is one I got into late, maybe like 3 days ago. I saw that Melodic Punk Style had posted this, and I like almost everything they put out. So, of course, I had to check it out. I believe it's pronounced Nonthewiser, maybe Nonthewiser. They have it on vinyl over there at Melodic Punk Style, but this to me sounds a lot like Satanic Surfers, a little bit of Bad Religion in the melodies. I'm digging this song Daytime so far, which it looks like most people have. I don't know if this came out as a single first. But overall, like if you like Bad Religion style, 90s burning heart-ish punk rock, I think this is one to check out, especially in 2023. We don't get too much stuff like this anymore. So Dylan, have you given this one a listen yet?
I have. I think the reason it kind of flew under a lot of people's radar until recently is I think they probably self-released it, and then Melodic Punk Style is not really a label, but they help bands out and press their record. I don't know the intricacies of what goes into it, but I think the band self-released it or something digitally, and then maybe Melodic Punk Style, that dude or dudes swooped in and decided to put it out physically. Because the first time I saw it was when I saw it in my Facebook feed, Melodic Punk Style's post, and I agree. They're them and Skate Punkers, man. Those skatepunkers.net. Those are the two websites like they'd never fucking fail. I found last year there was that band No Quarter. I think Melodic Punk Style put their record out, and I found them because I saw it on Melodic Punk Style's Facebook. So fucking consistent with like how good they are at finding these lesser known like European, especially skate punk bands. I haven't listened to it too much, but the few times I have I really like it. It's not up there with like the One of Us album from last month, but it's still pretty good. And I mean, these I definitely agree with the Bad Religion slant on the sound. So yeah, I'll have to listen to it more. I wish I knew about it when I placed my order for the One of Us record, so I could combine shipping on them. But I don't know. I might have to bite the bullet on that $10 shipping again.
Hey, if you do, I'll split it with you. We'll each grab one.
Okay, now we're done with the albums, and we're on to the EPs, the extended plays, as they're called in the business. So first up, we got a Floridian ska punk band from Fort Myers, more specifically. Bargain Bin Heroes. I think this is their third EP, and it's my favorite of the three they've released so far. I'm from Florida, so I'm biased, obviously. But there's something about Florida and ska punk that just makes sense, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. There's so many good ska bands from here. So the singer Eric, who also plays bass, he used to play in this band, After the Fact. One of my favorite smaller Florida ska punk bands. So this is his new band. I mean, he's been doing it for 5+ years now. But yeah, this EP is really fun. If you like Less Than Jake, this is in the same vein as Less Than Jake, more punk-leaning ska punk. Not too much like ska chords, mostly power chords, but they do have a horn section. So yeah, and it was mixed by Roger from Less Than Jake too, mixed and mastered. So check this shit out. We're gonna play Jumping the Shark, which they released a pretty fun music video for. Alright, next up we're going back to England here. From Peterborough, England, we got Sprainer. Not to be confused with Sprainard. Sprainer, this is their, I think it's their debut EP. They're not from Scotland, but they kind of remind me of the Kimberley Stakes. If you've heard of that band from Scotland, that's a deep cut right there. Those guys are fucking cool. But yeah, it's kind of like the guitars are pretty clean, but they play fast, which sounds like it shouldn't work, but it does somehow. I like the singer's voice too. It's kind of like soft and understated. So yeah, this is a really good debut effort from these guys, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from them. So check out Sprainer, and we're gonna play track number 1, which is Tentacles for you hentai fans.
Okay, up next, this is on both of our lists. This is Strum 101, their album Trial and Error. These guys are from Finland. They've been kicking for about 12 years now. This is the first time, I think I may have heard one of these older ones, but this is the first time I sat down and listened to a full album. And Dylan, I was really impressed with this one. I had it as my album of the day a few days back. My favorite track, which is Act 3, Aggravation. The song you picked was Act 1, Resignation. Another one of these little cool thematic albums. So what did you like about this one?
So these guys, they mix skate punk with a little bit of ska, which I found to be very compelling. If you watched a while ago, Off the Radar, we talked about a band called Point of View from California, who did a similar kind of thing, where they mix skate punk and ska. These guys, they don't do it quite as good. They do it a lot differently from Point of View, where it's like 80% of the song is skate punk, and then out of nowhere they do this little like ska kind of breakdown thing, which I find to be pretty fucking cool, man. I went back and this was the first I heard of them. I went back and listened to their most recent album, and it sounds same deal. A lot of skate punk with a little bit of ska. So really cool shit. Check these guys out if that sounds cool to you.
All right, up next for me, I'm picking this. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. This band sounds completely different than any other band on this list. This is Chlorine. Their album is called The Bittersweet. Came out February 17th. They describe themselves as grunge pop punk. So I kind of hear that. It kind of reminds me a little bit of my album of the year last year, which was Weather State and Never Getting Better. My favorite track on here is the first one here, New Delirium. They've got a pretty cool music video out for that one. If you guys like 90s alternative influence punk rock, I think you would definitely like this album. It kind of sounds like a lot of newer pop punk that I don't typically listen to, but something about the first song on here just kind of pulled me in. Thought it was really catchy, was getting stuck in my head, so I wanted to shout out this band, who was my album of the day today, Chlorine. So Dylan, did you check out this one yet?
I listened to part of the first song, and I thought it sounded interesting. The only thing I really have to say is I work at a swimming pool store, and just reading the word chlorine kind of triggers me. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this too much, just because when I see a word like that, it makes me think of work, and I don't like thinking of work. So, but I'll give you guys a shot, Chlorine, I promise.
All right, so I think this is our last EP, but maybe we're making the same mistake we did with albums. This is Few Thoughts, and the album is called You Wouldn't Steal an EP. The single that came out a few weeks before this album, Wasted Life. I threw it on my on the Punk Rock Museum post. I thought the single was awesome. It had a real Fat Wreck feel to it. So I was looking forward to whatever that was leading to, whether it was an EP or an album. So this is what we got out of that. It's an intro, and then we got 3 songs, but the 3 songs are really good. If you're a fan of Fat Wreck style, I won't say the band because Dylan will get upset with me, but definitely check out Monarchy, Mockery, and Wasted Life. Those are the 2 best songs on here. I think the one we're going to play is Wasted Life. Minute and 33, just blazes through it, but you get all the stuff you like about 90s skate punk mixed in. If you want a little bit of a longer taste, then check out track 2. Dylan, have you heard this one yet?
I believe I heard at least one of the songs. I thought it was pretty good. I really like the name of the EP and the cover, because it gives me some nostalgia for that era of music, of the Napster and stuff. So, and it's cool that they found the correct font to use for that. So.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, I agree, though. It does not sound like No Effects. Sorry, John.
The vocals in Wasted Life, I could hear it a little bit. Overall, No Effects, not a great comparison. But we'll just stick to Fat Wreck adjacent style. I did not say No Effects, so put that on the record. But I'm gonna play Wasted Life. Let us know what you guys think of this one.
Lost your pointers, dignity, living constant negativity to enjoy what's interesting about you.
All right, folks, we're on to the singles. Coming down the home stretch here. We got a lot of cool singles that came out this month. Up first, we got Frenzel Rom with the first single from their upcoming album, The Cup of Pestilence. I was pretty surprised. This came out of nowhere. I knew the album was coming at some point, and I knew they had finished recording it, but it seemed like it was pretty soon after. They didn't finish recording that long ago. So this is the first single. It's called Where Drug Dealers Take Their Kids. I don't know the story behind the song, the lyrics or anything, but it sounds like High Vis, High Tea, and Smoko at the Pet Food Factory. It sounds like a continuation of that direction as far as Frenzel Rom sounds goes. And it made me even more excited for this album, which I did not think was possible.
And yeah, Dylan and I both are already ordered from Australia to get our signed poster. So there's no
Fat Wreck launched the pre-orders the day after.
And I got that
Fucking
one
trolls.
too. But whatever. It's my most anticipated album. I could have 2 copies of it. I don't care. They're probably on different colors. But let's just quickly talk about the rest of the songs we picked. We've got Fake News, their song Rise and Fall. I think this is going to be an
Another
EP.
Australian band.
Yeah, and dude, this song rocks. Like, I think this is my probably most anticipated EP of the year. I like both this. Is there just 2 songs so far from this?
Yeah, there's this one, and then the first one they did in
Nothing
January,
Town, yeah.
which is what's it called?
Nothing Town,
That
yeah.
one was cool too. This one's a little faster. It's interesting. There's like fast sections and then slower, not like breakdowny, but more poppy sections. So yeah, lots of good shit coming out of Australia. We got 3 Australian bands on this month's list.
Yeah, so then we've got Bridge the Gap. We picked the song Over the Target. There was one Dylan
On Bandcamp.
Bandcamp
the other
only.
one.
This is on People of Punk Rock coming out this year, right? Then so
We talked about their first single last month. That was a lot slower than this one. This one's more fast and skate punky, as well as the one that's on Bandcamp. In case you missed last month's video, this album was recorded at the Blasting Room. So we got 2 releases recorded at the Blasting Room on here, and it was produced by Bill Stevenson. And all the songs sound great, so I'm really looking forward to this album too. I would have had this on the most anticipated list if I knew it was coming at the time.
we are doing part 2, so there'll be
Look out
room
for
for
that.
it. I think there's gonna be a lot from our singles list here that's gonna make it to the list. But Dylan, what else we have on the singles? Let's wrap them up.
We got Faintest Idea, ska punk band. I think John likes these guys. I like them too. Kind of ska core-ish. This is off their upcoming album, which is due out on March 31st on TNS Records and Jumpstart Records. So that's fucking cool. They're dropping singles left and right from this thing. And then we got Dead All Right, the one-man skate punk band from Montreal, Quebec, or however you pronounce it. This is they're eventually releasing an album on Thousand Islands Records. Thousand Islands puts out good shit. This is good shit too. This song is really good. Did you check it out?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm excited for this one. Like you said, everything
Yeah.
Thousand Islands puts out. But yeah, I like this song a lot. Then up next, I think this is the first ever single, right, from this band, Long Distance.
Yeah, we get 4 Australian bands, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. Yeah, this is their first song, and it's super good. Very good first impression from these. They look pretty young in their press photos. They look like teenage. Skate punk again. We got a lot of skate punk on here, but this has more of a pop punk slant to it, like an early 2000s pop punk slant. But really fucking good from these guys. They got another single coming soon, and they're doing an EP soon. And then the next one is John's pick, so I'll let John talk about it.
Yeah, so I just want to say when I started Punk Rock Radar, the very first band that ever interacted with me was the Proton Pack. Sent me their full album, press kit, everything. So, and took the time to talk to me. So I'll be forever appreciative of them. Super cool band, one of the coolest bands. And whenever I hear a new stuff from them, I'm gonna be into it. This is one of my favorite tracks by them. Very similar, like in the vein of the Rimmingtons. I feel like they kind of took that style and put a little spin on it for themselves. The concept of Infinity. It was a 2-song single on a lathe cut of vinyl through Mom's Basin Records. I believe it's already sold out, but yeah, go check it out. It's 2 singles, Concept of Infinity by the Proton Packs. Then up next, we've got Debt Cemetery. So a Blind Band Review alumni. I think they're from Canada, maybe Toronto. This is their song off their upcoming album, which will probably be on our next most anticipated list. Let's Murderlize Them, which I think both Dylan and I were pronouncing wrong. But this is another one that absolutely rocks. Dylan, what do you think about this track?
More Thousand Islands records. Bruno is like the master of finding great bands to put out. These guys are awesome, man. If you like a Wilhelm scream, definitely check out Death Cemetery. Can't wait to hear their debut album. Long time in the making. They've been around for a few years, so it's about time they put out a record.
I agree. And then we've got from the ashes of Link 80, we've got Omnigon. I think this is the first single off their new album on Bad Time Records. I still have to listen to this one, Dylan. This is one of your picks. What do you think about this track?
This is great. If you guys like Link 80, this sounds pretty similar to Link 80. This is their second album. The first album came out a few years ago. There's two guys who were in Link 80 are in this band. And again, I think Bad Time Records is to ska punk what Thousand Islands Records and People of Punk Rock are to skate punk. They put out a lot of good shit. They're very good tastemakers for when it comes to ska punk.
Yeah, dude, they're completely dialed in with ska punk.
They fucking are, man.
But
they're running the game.
Up next, we've got Making Friends. This is the reason that I became friends with Cat's Claw Records was talking about this band when they put out their 2 EPs, I think in 2021. This is the first single off their upcoming album. I'm not sure if the label's announced yet, so I won't say it. But yeah, this is more of the same from these guys. This is one of the best up and coming skate pop punk bands out there. Their first 2 EPs are incredible. The split they did with Shackleford last year was also really good. Dylan, have you heard these guys? Have you heard this song?
Yeah, they're great. And there's some beautiful, I don't know if irony would be the word, that a band named Making Friends led you to become friends with a label. What a beautiful thing. Yeah, these guys are awesome. This song is really fun. The music video is really cool too. I like all the little like glitchy effects they have where like the band members are like phasing in and out of reality and stuff. It was pretty fucking cool. So yeah, this is great. I can't wait to hear their album.
Yeah, that'll be one of my picks on the most anticipated part 2, which will probably be out in about a month, maybe a little less, but we'll see.
You can probably tell too just by the band name, like they're either named after a Lagwagon song or a No Use album. So I mean, you can kind of get an idea of what these guys sound like.
Yeah, definitely go check out Bonk and their other stuff. They don't have a bad song out, so go check out Making Friends. That's like one of my number one recommendations from this episode. Then we've got the Red Atlanta is another song I was one of my weekly picks for Punk Rock Museum. I really like these guys. I really like this track. I'm not sure, Dylan, maybe you know if this is from an upcoming EP, LP, but the first time I heard this, I was immediately roped in. I didn't have it planned for my post, but I heard it once. I threw it on there. But do you know anything about this? What this is from?
This is the third single from their upcoming album, which they have not released a release date for yet. But it's a great song. I like it. This is my favorite of the 3 singles they've released off the album. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. It's going to be their second album. Their first album, Unsettled, was released in 2019, and that is great as well. It kind of reminds me of another kind of a lesser-known melodic punk band called Hit the Switch. Kind of reminds me of that, like that late 90s, early 2000s Nitro stuff. So yeah, this is a great band and a great song.
One of these days I'm going to be as good at comparisons as you are. That's a great one there. And then finally we've got Urethane, the Dog Years. And they had an album, I think it was 2021. That came out, and this is now I think this may be a standalone single, right? I haven't heard anything about an album. What about you? Do you know?
I can't remember. I feel like I saw something about there potentially being an album. For those who don't know, this is Steve Caballero, legendary skateboarder Steve Caballero's band. There's some guys from some other bands that I can't remember right now, and I don't have that information in front of me. But yeah, this is a 2-song single. The song Dog Years is new. and I think it's probably their best song they've released yet. I like it more than anything on their first album. It's a lot faster than anything on there. And then Remember Me is a cover of a country song that was like written in 1940 or something. And there's I forget her name. I can't read it because it's too small. Maybe John can read it.
It's Brenner Red from The Last Gang.
The Last Gang. And then it also has the dude who plays accordion in Flogging Molly, who I learned recently was a professional skateboarder too. And I guess he's also held in as high as regard as Steve Caballero is. He's in the Skateboarding Hall of Fame. And he plays accordion on the song. So I like that song too. I think it's really cool that they mix like skate punk with an accordion. Like I can't think of many other bands who pulled that off as well as they did on this song.
No, I agree with you too, because I actually like Chasing Horizons. I think there's a song Wyoming on here. Yeah. But yeah, I think this is their best. I think this is their best song too. So hopefully it's part of an album, because they seem to be on like a little cool path here with these 2 tracks. Dylan, before we wrap up, I had wrote down these 2 albums, but I haven't listened to them enough yet because I was away. But the Longest Line album that had come out a week or so ago, it has another fearless 90s vibe to it, and then the Splintera album, which I think is heavily influenced by Fat Wreck, based on a few songs. And there's a Tony Sly song. There's I think there was another one I'm blanking here, but 2 more songs. If 27, 28 bands wasn't enough for you guys, there's 2 more I'll throw out there. Dylan, anything cool going on at Dying Scene before we say goodbye?
There's always cool stuff going on dyingscene.com on the World Wide Web. If you guys don't know, the way we're doing these things, we got the video of the best of the month, and then we got my written column of the best of the month to go along with it. So the written column has all of my picks, and the video has some that are exclusively John's picks as well. So if you like reading things more and clicking on hyperlinks and clicking play on Bandcamp embedded players, then check that out. The link to that will be in the video description. Other than that, yeah, man, just keep an eye on Dying Scene. We got a lot of photo galleries. We got a lot of cool exclusive shit coming up. The Tosca Fall, which I thought was pronounced Tuska Fall until now.
Dude,
Tosca Fall.
I'm terrible at pronunciations. You go with your gut.
You paid money to have the records pressed, so I'm gonna go with your pronunciation. So
please don't.
We're doing the exclusive premiere for the Tosca Fall EP on the 15th, which is, depends on when you're watching this, but March 15th, Wednesday, March 15th, we're doing the exclusive premiere for that a few days before the record comes out. But yeah, check that out. I've listened to it a few times and I really like it, and I think it's cool what you guys are doing with having an older EP on the B side of the physical record. I think that's awesome. Mike Park from Asian Man did that with some stuff before, like a Bruce Lee band records and stuff, where he put an EP on the B side. So I think that's cool. I think that gives people some more value. But yeah, always keep an eye on Dying Scene. Every weekend we do Record Radar. If you like buying records and shit, wasting all your fucking money, good stuff. Keep an eye on Punk Rock Radar too. John's always keeping his ear to the ground for exciting new bands for you guys to check out.
All right, so that's going to do it for this episode. Later this week, we're going to have our hit punk song tier list. We're gonna hit songs like "Good Riddance" by Green Day and "Time Bomb" by Rancid. All the small things by
Phineas and
Blink-182.
Ferb theme song
Phineas and Ferb theme song. I mean, that is
by
S
Bowling
tier
for Soup.
all the way. So that's gonna be me, Dylan, and Lewis. We're gonna record it tomorrow, so it'll be out a few days after you see this. So if that sounds interesting, if you're still watching, thank you. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff, and we really appreciate it. Head to punkrockradar.com, grab a t-shirt, grab the Tosca, however Dylan said it, fall album. Helps out the channel, supports a cool small band. And that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.